Today, we're going to talk about the shipping delays out at COMC, specifically what you guys can be doing as collectors to try and avoid situations such as what many collectors are facing right now, because these delays are insane and people have been talking about it for a long time, including Sports Card Radio. But there's a few things I want to unpack here, some things you guys could be doing to avoid situations like this, like I just said. Now, if you're not sure what COMC is, I'd be very, very shocked. It's essentially a platform. It's called Check Out My Cards, where you can buy and sell cards with, other collectors. And it essentially works in the sense that it's a vault, it's a warehouse. You send your cards there to get listed on their platform. The cards stay there. When you buy a card, it gets shipped to your own little warehouse. And the expectation is that you buy and sell all the time, and then you ship your cards home, every now and then. But what's sort of happened in recent months is they've had a huge influx of people wanting to ship stuff home. And when I say recent months, I want to say the last 6, actually. You can sort of see over here, there's a big red X next to economy. It's considered highly impacted, basically critical, because these orders are taking upwards of 59 business days in order to ship them home, which is, insane in this day and age. Now, I've had a number of people DM me and they've told me that the 59 business days is actually understated. I've got some people telling me they've waited for 80 plus days, which is, again, a little bit insane. And some of the talk around this, I think, has been misplaced because some people are getting really frustrated, which I think is rightfully so. 59 days is insane. But I think people are forgetting what COMC is sort of there to do. Like I opened the video with, and like Sports Card Radio have talked about in some of their recent videos, is that COMC should be all about, buying and selling cards consistently between each other, right? You really shouldn't be buying cards on there that you want to ship home anytime soon. Obviously, if you are a PCer and you actually want to collect cards, you do want to ship your cards home every now and then, but for the most part, you should be taking advantage of that vault service primarily to buy and sell cards to build up a decent amount of coin and then ship your key PC items. But where I think people have gone wrong in the messaging out of COMC seems to be that people are sort of requesting cards to come home, a lot more frequently than, just once every quarter, as an example. That's obviously perfectly fine to do. You can ship your cards home as often as you want, but clearly they don't have the facilities to handle that workload, which is insane to me. Like, it's insane how in this day and age you can still struggle at, this being essentially one of their core business offerings. Clearly there's a significant number of people that are wanting to ship cards home in batches, in smaller batches than what COMC probably wants, but they should be doing more to make sure that process is a lot more efficient. Now, before I go into a bit more detail, one thing that I thought was pretty funny was, Brian Gray, formerly of Leaf, their former CEO, came out and said 59 days, my shipping my ass, don't lie. Somebody else said that's crazy, 2 months to have cards shipped. He says they lied and said they ship in 2 months. It's been 3. But they did say, 59 business days, which is technically 3 months or just over 3 months or just under 3 months, I should say. But I just thought that was pretty funny from Brian. Clearly frustrated, clearly, misreading what they're saying here, but again, rightfully justified. Now, the thing I want to talk to here in some ways that you guys can prevent this stuff happening is understand what COMC is there to do. And like I sort of mentioned, and like what Sports Card Radio has talked to, COMC should be seen not like an eBay, not like some of these other platforms, but it should be seen as something to store cards for longer periods of time. And whilst, yes, PC stuff does pop up, it sort of is what it is. And the reason why you're seeing these delays is because they don't have the capability to sort of handle the volumes, which is not an excuse for them at all, but it's just really disappointing to see a number of people basically caught out because they've bought a number of cards on this platform. They're now trying to ship them home because they want to sell them elsewhere, either at a card show or on a vlog, but they can't get them. So these people seem to be desperate for the money based on some of the comments I'm reading and are saying, well, I'm shit out of luck. I'm now losing money because I can't sell these cards quick enough. But the mindset should be, well, if that's sort of the thing you want to try and be doing and have that sort of volatile flipping, take advantage of, COMC. And when I say volatile flipping, I mean buying something to flip immediately, right? You want to try and take advantage of the current trends within the market. If you want to be doing that, sell on COMC. Don't take the cards out. If you're sort of taking the cards out intending to sell, you've shot yourself in the foot because these delays are insane. These delays have almost always been there for the most part. So you're really, losing out in that instance. Don't partake of this sort of stuff if you are not going to get the value out of it. It goes back to some of the things I've said in the past as well when it comes to expanding my collection. One of the things I do, I talk about this a lot, in particular the last few weeks, is take a zero cost base approach. So again, if I was to do what people are doing on COMC and buying PC stuff and then shipping it home immediately and then getting caught up in the 60-day delay and I want to sell something, my zero cost base approach protects me. And the way that process works is, I will say this, the regulars are going to get pretty bored of this because I say it all the time, but the way that process works is I'll buy a card as an example. Like let's talk about this Branislav Ivanovic, this pretty filthy Chelsea flawless patch. I'll buy that card. Apologies, the camera's going to be blurry. I'll buy that card, but I'll make sure I use the profits of sales from other cards. And I've got a pretty good Excel spreadsheet that I've showed off before that I track things from the last 2 to 3 years. And what I do with that, I show every purchase price. I show, the profits that were used to buy that card from previous sales. And then I also show the sales price. And what I try and do is take those profits, put them towards a new card. Any money that was out of pocket in the first place, I put back into my savings account. And then I sort of fund my hobby through the hobby. So I've got plenty of cards, like most of those that you can see there on the shelf, literally cost me $0 out of pocket because I use these profits. And this Excel spreadsheet, tracks it quite well, and it allows me to stay on top of things. And the reason why this is relevant to the conversation is because this whole COMC situation, had I bought this card off COMC, I would not be, too alarmed right now, because technically I've already made the money back, right? I've purchased it with profits. Now, yes, if I wanted to sell that card, the delay is still going to impact me from maximizing profits. But if all hell breaks loose and this hobby, tanks overnight, or we go into another recession or something along those lines, I've really not spent anything out of pocket. And some people will argue, well, what's the difference? You could take that profit and put it in your pocket right now, put it towards something in your bank or buy a car or something. Sure. But I like to collect cards, and I want to collect cards. So that allows me to do it whilst, not feeling guilty throughout the whole process. And that's the mindset I think more and more people need to take within this hobby. Not exactly what I do, but if you're going to be using certain services, make sure it, best suits you. Make sure you're aware of how the process actually works, that you're not caught out if all of a sudden they have shipping delays. The same thing when it comes to grading cards. If you're sending cards into PSA and you're expecting a quick turnaround because you need to flip those cards to make money, it's like, well, should you be sending some of those cards in the first place if you're concerned that PSA might have significant delays again to turn around your grades? Like if you're that desperate to get the cards back from COMC, to send the cards into PSA and get them back super quickly so you can maximize the money, maybe it shouldn't be for you. And that sounds maybe a bit mean to say, because if you need to be making money and this is the way to make money, then so be it. But, if your whole thing is going to be make or break on a company doing what they should be doing, then, you're selling yourself short and it's not fair to you. So again, goes back to what I just said for the last 2 or 3 minutes. You can sort of buy from everywhere. You can buy what you want. Just be smart about it. Don't have COMC be your only approach, to make your money, to flip your cards. And if you want to be flipping cards, just sell them on COMC, or maybe don't ship them all home at the same time. Maybe, ship a small portion home. Yeah, you pay a little bit more on postage, but then it at least still gives you the ability to sell your inventory on COMC, given they've got these significant delays. There's all these little things that could be done to sort of protect yourself, because unfortunately, we've talked about this many times. A lot of these companies in this space can't really be relied upon, and delays will come from nowhere. They'll make mistakes that completely undermine what it is they're doing. COMC will shit the bed when it comes to shipping. Ship My Cards as an example, a service that I use all the time, all of a sudden increased their shipping prices. Card Hobby that I talked about in December, a month later after me talking about them, completely shit the bed when it came to their processing times and shipping times. And it's like all these things that are outside of your control should not be impacting you this much or as much as what some of them do to people within this hobby. And I know I opened this video by talking about COMC specifically, but that general thought process applies to everything. Just be very, very careful, and just remember these companies, are not as good as what they could be. So stop letting them impact you as much as they currently are. COMC is fun. Use COMC. It's a good place to sell, all that sort of jazz. But don't be so reliant on them like some of these people are. The comments that I'm getting are insane. People are saying they've waited, like I said, upwards of 80 business days. Like that's unacceptable in today's day and age. And that company's incompetence shouldn't impact you as much as it's currently impacting others. So, let me know your thoughts down below. I really think we should be holding COMC accountable. This is, unacceptable in 2024. These companies need to be better. And something like this, is impacting a lot of people, and it's sad to sort of see, but I'm keen to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.